This question: how do you get over the feeling of not being good enough? Now, pretty much everybody has had to deal with that at some point. Some people get it acutely, and some people get it a little bit. But pretty much everybody has it. This idea that they're not good enough. Now, the first thing to understand is it actually true that you're not good enough? Or is it actually just a thought? Habitual thought. Now, I've looked into it deeply, and what I've come to think is this, is that when I first started thinking, when I first began to understand language, and then I began to think, one of the thoughts that I was thinking a lot was, who am I? And what is all this? And then at the age of 6, 7, 8, for most people, something happens. And for me, it was, I was sent to boarding school, and I was 6 years old. And what I made that mean was that I wasn't loved. I wasn't good enough. And that thought started my I'm not good enough. I didn't know why they sent me. I didn't know why I wasn't good enough. I just knew that I wasn't good enough for my mum to love me, to keep me at home. Now then, something else happens, and looking for a reason for it, maybe at school, again the answer, oh, this must mean that I'm not good enough. And after a while it develops into a conversation that you have with yourself. It has its own little niche in you where you're not good enough. And when things happen, you go there. And a feeling around it develops, this kind of mood of not good enoughness, of woundedness, of not being connected, of loneliness, whatever. And as you get older, the thoughts you arise out of that beingness, the thoughts of not being good enough come out of that feeling, come out of that beingness and create more of it, and then more thoughts come out of it. And then at some point it reaches a level of density, of intensity, where it actually then brings into being an event in your life drama that proves you to be not good enough. And then your internal dialogue goes, you see, that's just happened. You're definitely not good enough. So what this shows us is that it's not coming, even if you appear to be not good enough, you fail at something, or people don't want to be with you, or whatever, even if that happens, it's still not proof that you're not good enough, because that situation arose out of who you were being that you were. Who you're being that you are gives you how you get yourself. If for some mistaken reason, due to a false explanation of what happened in the past, like for me, oh, I'm unloved, oh, I'm not good enough, then that creates a beingness, then that beingness gets more and more potent, then it generates more and more thinking in that way, and the next thing you know, it's got enough potency to actually manifest drama in your life that proves that beingness right. But it's still not the truth about you, that that you're no good, that you're not good enough. Because that isn't the truth about you. It may be how you appear relative to others, or relative to how you used to be, but it's still not the truth about you. It's how you're appearing. And how you're appearing is given by who you're being that you are. And who you're being that you are can have an unconscious element to it. You don't even realize that you've come to these conclusions about yourself. and you take what your internal dialogue is telling you, because always every episode of not feeling good enough will announce itself via your internal dialogue. It'll be a conversation inside your head. Oh, you see, you're not good enough. Look, that just happened again. Oh, look, you're always doing this. It's always coming from conversation in your head. It doesn't come from anywhere else. An event and a drama happens in your life, but then it's the internal dialogue that interprets it and gives it meaning. But it's not giving meaning and interpretation based on some kind of reality. It's giving its interpretation based on the mood that you're currently in. So if your mood is I'm not good enough, then the interpretation that your internal dialogue will give the situation is that it proves that you're not good enough. So it's not actually the truth about you. How you appear isn't who you are. This is the important thing to understand. We think that how we appear, that's who we are. The part we play in the movie of life, that's who we are. Well, no, it isn't. That's given by who you're being that you are. Who you actually are is something deeper than that. Is something more wonderful than that. Who you actually are is not your psychological self. Who you actually are is not your persona or your characteristics. You're the witness. You're the observer. And if you go and try and find it, there isn't actually anything to grasp there. You are, but there's no way that you are. You are, but there's no way that you are. Have a look. Go inside, discount all the thoughts, because that's how you're appearing, and keep going backwards, keep going within. You definitely are, but there's no way that you are. Now, for some people, that realization, that experience of there being no way that I am, is the most wonderful thing. The recognition of freedom. The recognition of a place inside you that no matter what trauma or drama or karma you might have been through, there is a place inside you which is untouched, which is not damaged. Coming from there, you clearly see that you're fine. You're good enough. In fact, that issue of am I good enough or not, or measuring yourself against other people, no longer is relevant, because now you have self-knowledge. In the absence of self-knowledge, you will ask your mind who you are, and it'll always tell you in accordance with who you're being in that moment. It's very funny, because if you really look at this, what you find is this strange phenomena. Very often, people who think they're not good enough, which is most of us, also think that they're special. They've got a special. And what it is that the special balances out the not good enough. Without the special, they go down. So they invent some kind of special. Oh, I'm specially empathic. Oh, I'm specially beautiful. Oh, I'm specially clever. Oh, I'm specially spiritual. And they invent a special. Now, very often, the special is true. But what they've done is they've gone up and taken it from where it is and brought it down onto the psychological level and used it as a balancing agent for not being good enough. Neither of them are true. You're neither special nor are you not good enough. That may be how you appear, but that's not who you actually are. So finding who you are, opening up the inquiry into who am I, is the most important thing. And the clues that you're given at the outset is The answer isn't what you think. Who you think you are, that's not who you are. And if you identify as who you think you are, you will inevitably feel not good enough. So no matter what drama is telling you about how good you are, it's still not the truth. So even if you've got convincing results showing you that you're not good enough, that still isn't the truth about you, because those results were created by who you were being that you were in the moment that you created them. So you have to go behind that to find the self. Something amazing within you that is waiting for you to discover. Who am I? If I'm not all this thinking, who am I? If I'm not the part that I play, if I'm not how I appear, if I'm not my characteristics, who am I? And there is a wonderful answer to that question. And I really hope you find it.